UFC 315 Muhammad vs. Della Maddalena took place on May 10th at the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. The event brought in $6 million at the gate, as well as sponsorships, merchandise sales, and potential site fees that can range from the millions to tens of millions. Not to mention the UFC's broadcasting deal with ESPN, which pulls north of $300 million a year. But how big of a slice did the fighters take home? International commissions typically do not disclose fighter pay information, so while Venom sponsorship and fight bonuses are released, the purses are just projections based on disclosed earnings from previous events. And if you stick around until the end, I'll disclose how much the channel made from the last video. With that said, let's jump into the first fight.
Every fighter that's under contract, if you want to tell the media what you're paid, that's up to you.
In the featured prelim, Canadian standout Mike Malott showcased his striking from the opening bell, cracking Charles Radtke with powerful shots, while using his movement and timing to stay a step ahead. In the second round, with his back to the cage, he staggered Radtke, then uncorked a devastating left hook that landed flush on Radtke's chin. Sensing the finish, Malott pounced, firing off several shots on the ground to put Radtke away and earn a statement TKO win that padded his highlight reel as well as boosted his bank account. Radtke took home around $30,000 to show and $4,500 in Venom sponsorship, also known as Fight Week incentive, for a total of $34,500. While Malott made an estimated $35,000 to show and $35,000 for the win. However, he's nearly up for a new contract and could have earned a bit more if he re-signed prior to the fight. He also took in $6,000 in sponsorship for $76,000 on the night. Kicking off the main card, Benoît Denis went for the takedown immediately against Kyle Propolec, smothering him on the ground while he fished for an early submission. Propolec was able to get back to his feet, but was quickly taken down again, where Denis dominated the round. At the start of the second, both men rocked each other with solid blows, and Denis unloaded nasty elbows against the fence before dragging Propolec back to the canvas. There he locked in an arm triangle choke, taking the submission victory. Propolec made at least $18,000 to show and $4,500 in sponsorship pay for a total of $22,500. However, he likely earned a nice bump for taking the fight on a week's notice. While Denis earned around $82,000 to show and $82,000 for the win, along with $6,000 in sponsorship, taking home an estimated $170,000. In the second fight, Natália Silva came out aggressively against the former flyweight champion Alexa Grasso, throwing a high volume of strikes. Though many were at least partially blocked, Silva mixed up her attack with a variety of kicks to take the first round. Her continuous movement kept her out of reach of Grasso's strikes until a flurry at the end of the second saw both fighters land big shots. In the final frame, Grasso upped the pressure knowing she was down 2 rounds, but Silva was too quick and elusive, taking the fight to the final bell and earning the unanimous decision win. Grasso, a former champ coming off 3 straight title fights, makes for a difficult puzzle when it comes to estimating her purse. It's hard to find a precedent that quite matches her situation. There are fighters like Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill who gained the title, lost it, and were both making $200,000 to show on subsequent contracts. Then there's Dominic Reyes, who fought for the title twice, and in his 11th fight was making a disclosed $125,000. On her 14th fight, I'm inclined to think Grasso took home closer to that amount. Add in $11,000 in Venom sponsorship, and you end up with a total of $136,000. While Silva, who earned a disclosed $40,000 3 fights ago at UFC 292, is likely on a new contract, pulling around $60,000 to show and another $60,000 for the win, along with $6,000 in Venom sponsorship, taking her total to $126,000. In the third fight of the night, featherweight legend José Aldo looked vintage early, outpacing and outpowering Aiemann Zahabi with sharp strikes and slick movement. Zahabi fired back late in the first and found more success in a competitive second, where he again picked up the pace towards the end of the round. That changed quickly in round 3, when Helwani came out swinging, only to get rocked by a savage knee and dropped by a brutal head kick. Aldo emptied the tank chasing the finish, but couldn't put Zahabi away. The final 2 minutes saw a completely gassed Aldo on his back trying to survive. When the dust settled, Zahabi's resilience paid off, earning him a close unanimous decision win. The former featherweight king José Aldo was listed at a guaranteed $400,000 in his last disclosed purse at UFC 278. However, on the Show Me the Money podcast, Renato Moicano and Gilbert Burns speculated that in reality he's making much more.
I think he's making a lot of money. That's why they give you those.
Throw a number, brother.
Yeah.
Throw a number.
I think
Say a number, brother. Number.
500?
How much? Say a number or say high or low.
I think 500K.
Way more.
Way more.
A mil. I think
More than a million. I think.
Really? I think
I think
minimum
$1 million
like
to fight Zahabi, my brother. Crazy.
Taking that into account, I'd estimate he earned between $750,000 and $1 million guaranteed, along with the maximum non-championship $21,000 in Venom sponsorship, which averaged out totals $896,000. But I wouldn't be surprised if when it's all said and done, he's over that $1 million number. Meanwhile, Zahabi pulled an estimated purse of $52,000, though after the fight, he spoke about the great offer the UFC made once it became clear that José wouldn't be able to make the bantamweight limit. So just know that this number definitely increased, potentially by a substantial amount. He'd also earn a matching amount for the win, and $6,000 in sponsorship pay, taking him to at least $110,000 on the night. In the women's flyweight co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko connected with a couple of right hooks to bust up the nose of the challenger Manon in the first round of their championship bout. The fight was more competitive on the feet as the rounds progressed, and for the most part, both fighters displayed good takedown defense. It was anyone's guess who was ahead on the scorecards going into the championship rounds, but a knockdown off a counter right hand sealed the fourth for Shevchenko. In the final frame, Fiorot pushed the pace and racked up control time against the cage, but it wouldn't be enough to earn the judge's decision, as Valentina Shevchenko would successfully defend her flyweight belt. As the challenger, Fiorot likely pulled between $350,000 and $500,000 guaranteed, along with $32,000 in Venom sponsorship and an estimated $457,000. And in her 12th straight title fight, the women's flyweight champ Valentina Shevchenko earned an estimated guaranteed paycheck between $750,000 and $1.25 million, along with $42,000 in sponsorship, coming out to $1,042,000 on the night. Only 7% of the people watching this video are subscribers, so if you're enjoying the content and want to keep up with all the latest videos, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And finally, in the welterweight main event of the evening, the champion Belal Muhammad, to his credit, engaged in the striking exchanges against the challenger Della Maddalena, but through 3 rounds, the Aussie's boxing looked sharper and his takedown defense was flawless. In the 4th round, after a wild exchange of blows, Muhammad got close on a takedown, but was still unable to get his opponent to the mat. His striking looked better and better as the rounds progressed, however, it still appeared that he was on the receiving end of the more powerful shots. In the final round, a knee by Maddalena opened a cut on the face of Muhammad, and he continued to unload on the champ throughout the round. Both fighters were a bloody mess by the final bell, but it was clear who the victor would be, as Della Maddalena earned the unanimous decision victory. Despite the loss, Muhammad would have earned the biggest paycheck of his career. He likely pulled somewhere in the range of $1 to $2 million guaranteed for the fight, along with the champion's rate of $42,000 in sponsorship, and a $50,000 fight of the night bonus, as well as his cut of the pay-per-view revenue, which, according to recent reports, has not been as lucrative as it once was. John Nash revealed on the Hey Not the Face podcast that many events have not even crossed ESPN's break-even threshold of 300,000 buys, and with this event carrying less than the typical amount of star power in my opinion, I'll estimate 250,000. Using the standard pay-per-view rate outlined in Eddie Alvarez's publicly released contract documents, Muhammad would only earn an additional $50,000. Totaled up, it comes out to $1,642,000 on the night. And for the new UFC welterweight champion Della Maddalena, while title challengers are often listed at around $350,000, it's been widely reported they're usually paid much more. I'd estimate anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million guaranteed for the new champ, along with the challenger's $32,000 in sponsorship pay and his $50,000 fight of the night bonus, taking his estimated grand total to $832,000. And last but not least, my video on UFC 314 got nearly 30,000 views as of this posting, translating to a little over $145. Corrections to the numbers I've shown will be listed in a pinned comment below. That's all for this episode. As always, thanks for watching. See you next week for UFC Fight Night, Burns vs. Morales.